Hello, everyone. This is Ninja DC joining in for another second episode of the React for that's kind of show
Amazing Digital Circus.
Vegan Digital Circus.
Yeah.
All right. Join me again in random meet order. Second.
Yeah.
Hi there, this is the second opinion, and from a critic first and a fan second, let's get existential.
Oh no.
All right. Then next up, Wolfgang.
Hello, everyone. It is me, Wolfgang, also known as Wolf Boy, because yes, I do actually have a name figured out now. Let's go, Wolfgang or Wolf Boy. Woo! Anyways, Gummy Goo is here, and there is an extremely concerning amount of ship art of Pomni and Gummy Goo. Even though he's dead, people still ship it. And you know what? I guess they just really like shipping these two. We also got a funeral scene, which this episode is such an existential crisis, and the funeral scene is actually the good one. So, you know what? We're just gonna have to sit here and analyze the hell out of this, because goddamn, I'm actually having a good night for once. So, back to you.
All right.
Boom, bada boom.
Then Jenn.
Yeah.
I may be first, I may be last. I may be still wondering who put existential trauma in my Saturday morning cartoons, but along with trauma. But I am first in all ways. Jenn, hello.
Let's go.
This just made me think like, we really need one of these big shows that like YouTube cartoon stuff to start releasing their premieres on Saturday morning, just so they could say they're Saturday morning cartoons.
I've been wondering if this really were Saturday morning cartoons. I wonder, makes you wonder, like, what kind of person would I grow up into if this was exposed to me as a child?
Oh, trust me, I was exposed to the entirety of the Brony fandom as a child. You have no idea.
So to give some little bit of optimism, apparently, like animations on YouTube are very successful, and so
like Lackadaisy.
You know what? Yeah, that's true.
I like Lackadaisy.
That is true. That is true.
All right, and then also Gator.
He's muted.
No, not the Gummy Goo one, the one that's actually here and not an AI. So can come to the circuits.
Yeah, calm down, viewers.
Yeah.
Calling Gunmetal Gator, whose mic is muted.
Calling Gunmetal Gator while I have a Detho song stuck in my head.
Now,
Bird brain.
Now,
Hey.
Gunmetal Gator.
Hey.
Hey. Yippee.
All right, he's back. He said, hey, that's his introduction.
Hello.
Yes.
How do you all do, fellow humans? This is Gunmetal Gator here saying, well, I didn't imagine the digital circus would provide us with crocodilian fanatics with something new, but here we are now.
Yeah.
All right, I guess with that said, so what are your all thoughts on episode 2?
Episode 2 might be, now that I'm coming back and seeing it again, it might be one of those ones that's a good come back to and watch. Like, I don't know, I feel like there's a lot of reasons that certain things that aren't like insta classics, when they're viewed, sort of age into either that or more fondly remembered and stuff. And like, I guess one thing you can't lowball is when later parts of the story or sequels or follow-up episodes in this case spring the trap on you, reveal the long game, and give you that personal connection to the character and the scenarios and all, etc. So I think whereas I remember the first time going through like how I just thinking of Jax as kind of a jag-off, just thinking of the adventure as something that in itself he's undercutting a little bit, so aka also not the important part, just kind of funny, kind of a couple of fun visual gags. Now in hindsight, like, hey, if anything, weirdly, like knowing some of the long games they're playing with characters like Jax, it does make it more just like genuinely funny to me now.
Yeah, exactly.
That like I feel like I can weirdly support him being a giant like game breaking troll and more now.
Yeah, true.
Like, but the Pomni Gummy Goose stuff is still just as strong as I remember. Like, yeah, Digital Circus hadn't quite like won its way onto my A list just yet. I felt like I was still waiting for a bit of a slow burn on this, but yeah, like Pomni's starting out, and I mean, she is the only character whose trajectory I feel like we get right out of the gate, and who they want us to get right out of the gate. But that said, it's a pretty strong portrayal and a pretty empathetic portrayal, and one that is a little like too relatable at points. Like, oh, you can practically hear the Robin Williams quote when she's talking to Gummy Goo about how the saddest people are the ones who try the hardest to make others happy because they don't want anyone to feel absolutely worthless like they just did. It's like,
yeah, exactly.
boy, I mean, that is strong stuff, and like the Gummy Goose fate genuinely hurts. But they do pay it off, though. That's not just another punch in the gut. The bit about like how, that's all well and good to have like empathy just for empathy's sake. But yeah, the part here about the connections with the actual people who, are out on this branch all alone together, oxymoronically, and who, have things they need from one another. Like, that is actually what's important here, as much as that's the hard work to be done, and as much as that is going to be slow growth, if even.
Yeah.
So yeah, the core of this episode, the emotional core, that was and remains pretty strong and pretty moving for what it is. But yeah, it's aged into, I feel like it might be the case that, all of Digital Circus, now that it's officially made on the list with my recent most favorite episodes, that all of it is actually going to be a pretty good rewatch coming back. Not just like, okay, but let me get to my favorites.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, this episode really hit hard for a lot of reasons. But one of the reasons is that they just handle every single topic so well. And there's also, again, the personal connection, considering you do not want to know how many times that I've had dynamics with my friends that are either like Jackson Gangle with like me as Gangle, or like Pomni and Ragatha but me as Ragatha. Like, it is like a personal connection, because that dynamic is like those two dynamics are like my most common ones. Because I'm always like the sort of cheerleader of the group every time I talk to any of my friends. So I always like get them being like, "Hey, don't patronize me," or they get me to do everything in games like when my brother figure just fucking throws me into something and says, "Hey, you know what? Wolfie, you do this. Anyways, come on, let's go." Wait, what? Don't worry, Wolfie, you got this. Totally. Oh, never mind, he's dead. Okay, let's keep going. So just like, yeah, that dynamic is pretty common. At the same time, and I really do relate highly to Ragatha constantly trying to get Pomni's validation, because I have had many experiences where it just like viscerally hurts, like trying to get people to like me, people to respect me, people to like actually notice that I'm there, and even apologizing for things that just straight up aren't my fault, and being anxious on whether people even like me or not. Like the one scene where Ragatha talks to Kinger, I just relate to so hard, because as of constantly being anxious on like whether people like me or not, whether I'm doing enough or not. And like the apology at the beginning of the episode, like there are so many things that I've just apologized for like the sake of apologizing for, even though I really just shouldn't. And it's just such a common thing. And it's just like such a common thing for me to like, be a crazy people pleaser and like try to always be like the positive one of the group, which over time can get a little bit tiring if people are just not noticing your efforts, especially considering like even characters like Angle, like purposely getting easily led just to like appease other people. I've had that as well. I've had both. So it's just like it's kind of interesting seeing like a lot of traits in myself being betrayed like that, and at the same time I've had like meaningful conversations with people where I've tried to cheer them up like Pomni has, and I genuinely think that it was handled in such an extremely good way. I love the emotional impact of everything and how she's able to genuinely, like, somehow in this horrific situation, make him feel more like a person, which I personally think they handled extremely well. So I just love in every way how that was handled. And at the same time, the adventure is just fucking funny. Like, you gotta admit, the adventure itself is just fucking funny. I love the design of the princess character. I love her voice actor. She's just extremely cool to me. And at the same time, with all of that going on, just Jax like trying to be the leader of the group while at the same time failing the group over and over again is just really funny to me. Especially considering, again, I've dealt with a lot of people like Jax before, and believe me, I have had those times where it's been like, you know what? You know what? You do this. I ain't got time for it. Well, it's your fault now. Wait, what? And at the same time, and the final Gummy Go's death is like one of the most like funeral things in the fandom. I'm sure that someone has made at least one joke funeral with a Gummy Goo plushie. At least one. Because, like, there is I'm not kidding. This is a real thing that happened. I was 15 and I'd gone to CG5's concert and he had made a fan song about Gummy Goo. This was a bar of like over 100 people. And as soon as he started singing the song about Gummy Goo, everyone got up their flashlights and for like their phones and started like putting them up in the air and doing like the swaying thing as sort of like, respect for the dead. And then someone started doing that, but with a Gummy Goo plushie. And it was like everyone in the room mourning a fictional character while CG5 sings an emotional ballad about Gummy Goo. And everyone was like waving their flashlights and the one Gummy Goo plushie in the room for respect for the dead in this extremely emotional and heartbreaking song about a gummy alligator. Truly one of the coolest things I've ever seen at a concert. Like, there was an entire room of people mourning fucking Gummy Goo.
That makes me curious. I was curious, like, I know they make some Gummy Goo Goo products, but have they actually made Gummy Goo like gummy bears things?
Oh, I really wish they did. They do have a plushie, but they don't have that. But it's such a missed marketing opportunity because that would be so perfect. Like somebody at that concert with like everybody waving their Gummy Goo merch and flashlight slowly in the air for the emotional ballad, legitimately, non-ironically mourning the loss of a fictional character in a room of hundreds of people at a bar in Tampa.
Like, a fictional character who, in the context of the fictional show, is a fictional character.
Exactly, and they were all mourning him like a real person, like waving their flashlights in the air and like filled with despair as CG5 sings this emotional, tragic ballad. All the lights in the bar go dim as he sings this emotional, tragic ballad about Gummy Goo with the most beautiful male singing voice I've ever heard, and basically nearly starts crying because of how emotional and beautiful this song is. Keep in mind, this is about a double fictional gummy, and all the lights go dim as everyone is slowly waving their flashlights in the air and mourning the loss of Gummy Goo. Trust me, I saw it. I was there, and I joined in on the flashlights. It's one of the coolest things ever, man. There was a funeral for Gummy Goo at a CG5 concert in Tampa. And my parents were so confused because I hadn't told them about Digital Circus yet. So my parents were so confused why it was an entire room mourning the loss of Gummy Goo. It's like, why are hundreds of teenagers and young adults in this room mourning Gummy Goo? What happened here? Why is there over 100 teens and young adults fucking mourning Gummy Goo?
That's what a touching enough scene will get you.
And then after that, there was a louder applause for that than any other song. Immediately after that, it was the loudest applause I've ever heard for Gummy Goo. The loudest applause I've ever heard for Gummy Goo. I think someone even shouted saying "Rest in peace, beloved Gummy Goo." It was truly the most amazing thing I've ever seen. It's one of the funniest fandom stories I'll ever tell because it legitimately happened, and I literally have recording of it from a vlog that I was planning on posting. So if I find that, I will send a link here because it's one of the most unironic funerals for a fictional character I've ever been at. And to wrap a bow on my statement about the episode, the funeral at the end was extremely touching yet heartbreaking, with each character showing how much they truly cared about Kaufmo. The only interesting thing is that Jax doesn't attend Kaufmo's funeral. Even Pomni is at Kaufmo's funeral, and if Gummy Goo wouldn't have been like zapped out of reality, he probably also would have attended Gummy Goo's funeral. So why didn't Jax show up? What's Jax's problem with Kaufmo? So much so that when Kaufmo abstracted, not only did he not care in the first episode, but now in the second episode, he didn't even show up to his funeral. Pomni didn't even know Kaufmo. She only ever saw Kaufmo in his abstracted form, considering even at the beginning of the episode, he was just a cardboard cutout. Even at the beginning of the episode. So Pomni, who has never met Kaufmo, was already mourning Kaufmo. And then if Gummy Goo wouldn't have died, Gummy Goo would have also been mourning Kaufmo. So what is Jax's problem with Kaufmo?
I guess what you have to, this is that even pretty decent nuanced writing. You got to appreciate that emotions are not scorecards or, logic puzzles where, what person with less emotional connection to past character is attending funeral and not me with more emotional connection. Incongruous, faux pas, not valid.
Just is kind of a theory of mine with this.
Logic.
Just kind of a theory of mine when it comes to this in particular, which is that I feel like the only reason that he didn't attend the funeral wasn't because he didn't care. The thing is that it is, on the surface, very confusing why someone with less connection would attend the funeral and he wouldn't. I feel like it's actually a difference of he cares too much and doesn't want to show that he cares too much. I've met people with a very avoidant attachment style, again, similar to Jax. I've known a lot of people similar to him, so I understand his character when it comes to, I feel like he cares too much, and he doesn't want to show that he cares too much. So because of that he's being avoidant. He doesn't want to face the problem. He doesn't want to face the death, and he's trying to find a form of escapism because he doesn't want to admit to himself that Kaufmo is truly gone. That's just something that he physically can't do. He doesn't want to admit that any of this is real, and he doesn't want to admit that Kaufmo is gone. So he's staying away and showing a mix of sadness and resentment, despite in the inside of his head, he cares about him and he misses him.
Yeah, well, I mean, heck, you ever hear the story of Chris Farley and David Spade?
I think I have.
Oh yeah, how they were best friends in real life, and that was the source of a lot of their good chemistry on screen, where they managed to play each other's kind of weird comedic personas off each other pretty well. Like, but yeah, David Spade actually didn't attend Chris Farley's funeral, and when asked why, all he could say is, "I couldn't be in any room where Chris was in a box." Which,
Exactly, which I feel is the same case scenario for Jax. I feel like the reason he isn't at the funeral isn't because he doesn't care. He cares too much, and he feels wronged by the fact that Kaufmo is no longer in this world. So he shows it off by showing resentment on the outside to try and cope with the fact that he can't cope with the fact that Kaufmo's gone.
yeah, well, I think that we've seen that Jax is someone who copes with the painful emotions that this scenario is bringing down on them by like trying to bury himself so deep inside of a persona that he even fools himself or tries to at very least. And yeah, like attending Cosmo's funeral and being openly emotional that he's gone like absolutely breaks the persona.
Exactly. He's the definition of someone who puts on a persona for others. And again, I fully know, considering that I did used to I genuinely used to put on a persona for others. And I know that things like that can break the illusion really quickly. And what happened, especially when I was like 13, was I would try to put up a different persona, but different little things would break it from time to time, and it would start getting difficult to keep up. Jax wants to avoid anything that could break it, because then he'll straight up lose his mind, because this is the only thing he has left to cope. He lost Kaufmo, and now he's in a circus with people he has barely any connection to at all. And the way that he's coping with that is, instead of trying to build connection, he does the opposite. He pushes away connection now that he's getting into the dark realization that a lot of people are going to be gone one day. So he's even further going into the persona than he was in the first episode, because now he's trying to cope even harder, which again I do relate to, as I have like leaned into like a persona a lot more during bad things happening in my life, to try and hide from the fact that I'm not doing well, to try and seem like I'm positive all the time, when in reality I'm just not, when things end up happening. And I feel like it's a similar thing with Jax, that the worse and worse his life gets, the more and more he leans into that persona, until he eventually forgets who he fully is in the first place, because he's leaned so much into this persona as a way from hiding from the fact that things are just not going well, and he can't deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's really the main core of his character, is just someone who's leaned so much into a persona that they don't remember who they are, and it keeps getting worse and worse every time something like Kaufmo's abstraction happens, because you can very much tell that he's leaning way, way more into it this episode than he even was last episode. And he was already a dick last episode, but now he's leaning into it even harder, which just shows that he's coping even harder than he already was, because of how much pain he's in after having to witness another horrific, traumatizing thing right before his eyes. You saw what happened to Ragatha. You saw how Ragatha's entire body was abstracting in agonizing detail as soon as she got attacked by Kaufmo. That could have very much happened to Jax. And just from the fact that that could have happened alone is traumatizing on its own, plus the prospect of, again, losing Kaufmo. So not only did he lose Kaufmo, he also was in an extremely dangerous, traumatic situation that he could have very well had his body end up like Ragatha, from someone who used to be his friend. So he just keeps leaning further and further into the persona, so that way he doesn't have to be face to face with the fact that he is traumatized, and doesn't want to admit that he keeps getting re-traumatized over and over again and leaning more and more into the persona to cover up the fact that he keeps getting more and more traumatized.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't even the Jax episode though. Like we get a demonstration of him a little bit here, but yeah, we probably should wait a few more before we really have
Before we get into
discussion.
the Jax discussion. Here we have the Jax. He is described as Gooseworks as a little idiot. She hates and loves him so much. And as soon as we get to the Jax episode, the Jax effect will happen, where we can't stop talking about this stupid rabbit. All according to Gooseworks' plan. Gooseworks' favorite character and the character she relates to the most is Jax. So we will get hit by the Jax bombs, and we will be discussing him for eons.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, a lot of these things, like the Kinger's moment, talking to Ragatha with the bucket on his head, Gangle, having her like actually like unironically caring about the rules of the game, but being strong-armed by Jax more, like, hey, yeah, I mean, there are things that are easier to appreciate coming back in hindsight, but yeah,
oh, the bucket got me. For me, it was the bucket. As soon as I saw that, I was just like, oh god. I remember the Twitter posts. Oh no.
Yeah. Jack's always like having another key to whip out and do these things with.
Jax just randomly stealing the key from Ragatha is hilarious. I don't even know how he got it, but he got it.
Mm-hmm. Jax is the key, dude. That took
Jax
me a while
is the
to
key,
notice
dude.
too.
Yeah, he stole the key in the first episode and the second episode. He's just the key guy. He steals all the keys. It's almost like when I was in that one Minecraft event and was desperately trying to be the sand or snow keeper in this case, and I kept finding more and more keys, but because my team was really slow, I didn't get to use the keys, and then we lost, and I was blamed for it when our team was just legitimately bad. I mean, we got a Twitch streamer with a trackpad, a Scottish guy who lied about being good at the game, and Icy was blowing up like Jax every 5 seconds, and I'm even worse at the game. So we were a little bit dysfunctional. Like, Icy was basically embodying Jax for that entire event, and then it was just us three in the corner, like, failing him every 5 seconds.
Sure.
It's like, so, Icy, yeah? I kind of gotta have dinner now in the middle of the game. Yeah, I'll be back in 20 minutes. Okay, so you two, you're on your own. We're gonna die. What do you mean we're gonna die? I mean, he's our only semi-good player. We're gonna die. So good luck. Wait, hold on. What? See ya. True story.
Otherwise, though, still, just a lot of setting the stage in this one before we start to dig beneath the surface of both the circus and the other characters.
Oh, we're gonna get hit with a lot in even just the next episode. It's gonna be a lot.
Yeah, the next episode, come to think, is sort of our first, all right, dig beneath the surface of one of the other characters sort of thing. And I won't say which one, but the picture that starts to unfold, there's a lot of interest factor to it. I think episode 5 was the first one I saw that I was like, all right, that's my new favorite. This show is now cranking out favorite episodes of mine.
For me, it's
a bit
4.
of a slow
I love
burn in that
Gangle.
sense, but yeah.
For me, it was 4. I love Gangle. I love Gangle so much.
I mean, I think Gangle, I have come to kind of love Gangle at least as much as the others, and I mean, there's a non-zero chance that she's actually the character I have the most in common with and identify with the most. And that's in spite of what I'm about to say. I think she was a little let down by her episode, or at least the setting of it. Like, just like, I know they wanted to, like, have something that would make it very clear what they were getting at with Gangle, but I'm like, of all the who cares things you could have put them in. I just, I mean, because like that's the one I try to think back to, and I'm like, was there anything I like particularly liked in that one? Like after watching, yeah, fantastic setting, a really interesting, intense. I'll stick with intense setting for one character to show us all what they're about and to like, yeah, bond with Pomni, the character we have been made to relate to up to this point, and yeah, really show us what's underneath. I'm like, all right, and now for episode 4, you pick this. I'm like, I'm trying to think what even stands out to me besides the psychology of Gangle, which I mean accomplishes what it's set out to do in that sense. I'm like, I think the only thing that stands out to me is Kinger being Kinger. That like, and I don't even know if it's because he more than usual is having his, hey, I do these things trying to get you guys to like me independent of what you actually want. Like, I don't know if he was more absurd and more just goofy here, or if it's just that's all I'm left with after this is what it is.
Yeah. Honestly, for me, despite the fact that episode 4 is like 1 out of 2 of my 2 favorite episodes of all time, I still fully admit that the setting is extremely stupid, even though it's one of my absolute favorites and it's the reason why I have a hyperfixation on Gangle. I still admit that it's a very, very stupid premise.
I mean, maybe it'll be like this one. Maybe I'll go back and I'll be like, oh, even more than episode 1. This is a great one to come back to in hindsight. But I mean, I just like, now that you guys are making me think of it by bringing it up as a favorite, I'm like, yeah, now that I'm forced to confront it, I'm like, is it actually my least favorite? Just in that I can't think of favorite points about it. I can't. Yeah, I for the life of me cannot pull out of my head like, okay, what was episode 4's place in this totem pole of escalation and revealing things other than that? I guess it showed me Gangle's psychology.
It's 1 out of 2 of my favorite episodes, and trust me, episode 8 is a lot more important than, you know.
Oh yeah, I guess Gangle did manage to pull out one favorite moment in the complicated bit of emotions that we see all at once when she, without spoiling anything, makes her decision at the end of the adventure. But I mean, that's like, that I still remember that being Gangle's win more than it was the episode's win.
Yeah, true.
And that, like, yeah, I mean, it did its job making me feel for her, but I'm like, I don't know. I feel like the thing that elevates in my mind is her character and less so the episode.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, Gangle is a really good character, but man, I totally get the premise is really stupid. I just really like this episode. I don't know what it is about it, but I really like and relate to that episode, and I love this stupid theater. Even though the plot makes no sense. I think I might just like Gangle.
I guess we'll see when we get to it, because I mean, hey, I can't rule out that it's going to be just like this one, that I'm going to be like, oh, this is better than I remember in hindsight.
You know what? You can get a new perspective. The viewers can get a new perspective. You have one person who doesn't like the episode versus one person who has it as their favorite. So the viewers can get a nuanced perspective and decide whether they're in the middle or whether they agree with either of our sides. So you know what? That'll actually be very interesting.
Here, I didn't actually say don't like it, for the record. I said it was my least favorite of the bunch. This is one of those ones. I mean, it's only had 9 episodes. That wouldn't be the best batting average right off the bat if it had one that I flat out didn't like. and it doesn't. I think episode 4
Yeah.
was fine. It's just like I said, I can't remember
It's your least favorite, and it's my favorite, so it'd be an interesting
go.
perspective.
Or I assume it's my least favorite. Like I said, y'all are just sort of forcing me to think about it, and I'm like, I guess it was my least favorite, and that I
Ribbon.
particularly points to the contrary.
Cool ribbon girl. I like the cool ribbon girl.
Yeah.
That's really all I can say about it.
Oy, so there you have it.
Yeah. Okay, so does anybody else want to discuss this episode? Because I think that I was probably
Yeah, we burned up a lot
but
there. Anybody
have-
care to take
I
the
went on a
stage?
long
Show us what great
CG5
characters
rant.
you are in this show.
I have a little bit to contribute.
All right.
Reason when you Wolfie, I have a thing to think about, why Jax wasn't there at Kafka's funeral.
Yeah.
I think Jax did it.
Oh, you think that Jax caused Kaufmo's obstruction?
I think he did.
Interesting.
I think he did. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, he did. He did act suspiciously calm when going over to the room, and like suspiciously knew that he might not be doing okay in the head. And it did.
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure Jax's name was even on one of the walls. So this is actually a pretty good theory.
I think he did. I think he did it. I honestly think he did it, as much as although you gave a very convincing opinion, but a convincing opinion, and if it comes to that, we're like, okay then. But the one thing, first thing that goes into my mind is like that goes into my mind is, especially with how he's been this entire episode. I'm like, and with Kako, and now that you mentioned he's not there, I'm like, he did it.
Yeah, it feels like with the kind of character that Jax is, it definitely feels like he would be the kind of character to cause an obstruction.
Exactly. And maybe, and you know what, if I'm proven wrong, I'm proven wrong. I don't mind being proven wrong. Matter of fact, some of the best moments in this group have been, and most shocking and laughable ones have been when I've been proven wrong, and I'm all
Same here.
and I'm all for it, Another thing, the typical existential. I'm not going to start thinking this with amazing digital circus. Like we now return to your existential trauma.
Yeah.
And then having oh no, the gummy. What's his name? I forgot. I'm
Gummy
sorry.
Goo.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Gummy
it's gonna
Goo.
be
guy with the
interesting to see
funeral.
how
And then having that big existential moment, and everything, especially with Pomni, and then also just out of existence. I was like, what the hell? Yeah. If you could see my own face, it actually mirrored Pomni's. I'm like, this is what? And then I'm thinking like, crash out. But it's only episode 2.
It's only episode 2. We already got a crash out.
We've already. Are we gonna have a mega crash out? Like, no, we can't have a mega crash out. It's episode 2. It's too early.
Nothing is too early for the evil
Hunt down
goose.
Jax. Is she gonna hunt down
I
Jax?
thought this was an existential, not just existential.
Is it gonna
This
turn
one
to
for
body
Goosebumps.
horror where she actually freaks out and actually rips Jax's ears off and punches him in that infuriating face?
Oh, come on now. We can't have everything.
We
Yeah,
can't have
you're
everything.
I know, and
Goosebergs loves and hates him.
I know, and that's just the problem with this world. You can't have everything.
But actually, it is going to be interesting to see how your impression of Jax and what he might be guilty of or innocent of evolves as they uncork his character. Because make no mistake, we've been talking about how they make the game for every character known.
Yeah.
He's on that list.
Yeah, exactly.
And I guess time will tell. Time will tell if whether I decide I would like to make a risotto out of him.
Right.
Whether you would like to make a risotto out of him, let's get it.
Whether I would like to make a risotto out of him, and feed to somebody's hungry dog.
We
Okay,
got
there is one
we got literal
moment,
Jack's
like
food for thought.
maybe even exactly only one moment in the episodes ahead that could make you genuinely like him, and mainly because, like, I can't even deny it, he's hilarious in it, but like
Yeah, he's got
he's
some
not
hilarious
hilarious
moments,
by
yeah.
himself. Just like, yeah, I can't
He's
even
got some
spoil it.
hilarious moments. I will say, yeah, he
Yeah,
definitely
but like
some-
he allows someone to be hilarious with him, is
Yes.
what I will
Yeah.
say. Like
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Okay.
it's
fair.
not redemption per se, but at least in that moment, it is very, very, very hard not to like him a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm curious. I am curious of this. I'm like, okay, I'll be like, all right, I'll be asking myself, like, okay, where's the moment? Am I supposed to like him, or am I supposed to maybe even tolerate him? Where is it? I'm all for ears. I'm all, yeah. I
Like
don't
him.
Maybe even tolerate him.
tolerate maybe. Love, that's a
All
hard
right.
word to say sometimes.
But if it goes by and you don't react,
Agreed.
I'll let you know that was it.
Fair. You know, fair.
Being like, oh, was that it?
I'd probably be like, huh, okay. But well, you never know. It's the other is just focusing on Pomni and the constant existential horror.
Yeah.
I wonder if I want to be funny to ask this question every single time, wondering who put existential trauma in my Saturday morning
cartoon.
my Saturday morning 90s.
What will my Saturday morning trauma be today?
Oh, my Saturday
That's a
morning
good
trauma
one.
be today.
That's a good one. That's a good one. So what will
Let's
So
go.
what will like my Saturday morning trauma be like today? Will it be like the stupid barista over at Starbucks forgot my pasta again?
I've got first world problems.
World problems.
First world problems. Like
Trust
I know
me, man.
that hashtag champagne problems.
The amount of times that people have like misspelled my dead name on fucking Starbucks cups is illegal. Like it is illegal. It's literally like fucking SOFI. It's not that difficult. And I can't give Wolfgang either because then they'll give me the death stare. So I gotta give him fucking SOFI, and they keep writing Sophie with a PH on the cup.
If any of you remember Calliope Pony, what she used to say about people pronouncing it Calliope?
Calliope is just a criminal.
Calliope on the open range.
And that lovely, beautiful name, Calliope, and if there's anything that just gets my blood boiling, it's mispronunciation, especially if it's on purpose. Especially if it's on purpose and of a butchering of a beautiful word like Calliope. And it's like Calliope. I'm like, I will put a hot poker
on purpose. That's why we all hate what M. Night Shyamalan did to the Avatar universe.
Oh boy!
Like
no. You must acknowledge how serious and deep I am, and what I don't know. I guess he was trying to do what the guy did to Cats the movie, but doesn't this sound much more serious and edgy when I call him Eero?
Yeah.
Oh boy!
Like,
oh boy!
man.
We can just agree that the Shyamalan Avatar was like, you know what? It was a start, okay. The thing is with it is he has a great potential, and he has great potential, but the execution goes off, and potential for a great twist, but I don't know.
The only potential I really saw in M. Night Shyamalan's Avatar is that it was Avatar. Like, I mean, of course, you have some of the strongest material of all time, but I mean, like, he found, like, he wasn't even, like, except for the earthbending scene, of course, like, funny what he did to this. It's like, dude, why are you being so lame in the hope that I guess you'll get all the benefit of this and none of the, oh, that's just a cartoon not being taken seriously. Like,
Eh,
you're
eh.
you forcing us to indulge your fantasies of being deep hurts a
First of
lot.
all, I still wonder, like, did Shyamalan even watch Avatar?
He's
Yeah.
claimed to be a fan, and I have my doubts.
That's
Yeah.
my biggest question. Like, somebody need to go up to him and be like, "Excuse me, Mr. Shyamalan, did you actually watch Avatar?"
Of course I didn't.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
just my only question.
it's
Like,
just
did
speed
you
notes.
actually watch that?
You
But
watched it.
either way, it's just like, I was like, okay, it's a first run. Let's just say I'll be like, there's something positive about this. It showed fans of Avatar what not to do.
Exactly. It's a very good tutorial on what not to do.
Like,
Like
this is
every
what you
time I
do
play
not
Minecraft.
do.
Step 1, walk over. See
Sure.
someone running towards you. Run the opposite direction instead of trying to fight them. Instantly die. Wait 20 minutes for the other people on your team to finish. And then get used as the example of what not to do.
And number 2, effort.
All right. But I guess we should probably start wrapping up since it's
Yes.
almost midnight.
Indeed.
But I guess to give my thoughts on this episode, I felt this was the first true episode, though it's not just an introduction. It was sort of interesting to see them, as Pommy say, basically start LARPing in these situations.
Mhm.
Anyone else? Did anyone else give their opinions? Did Gator give his?
Gator's been a bit in and out, I've got to say.
Yeah.
Oh, fair.
Oh, is he in?
I don't know. I just saw that it's still muted. I did not know if he'd gotten his opinion in or not. That's all.
I thought I heard a
Not
gator
bad.
noise for a second, but it might have been my imagination.
It's either your imagination or my Asteria window just opened.
Oh.
I don't know, man. I got
Asteria
a very cool PC setup. I got the meat, and then I got another window of the Asteria music I was listening to earlier, and then my drawing stuff.
Yep.
The entire Niche Princess album. I've listened to the entire album 3 times today. It has 30 songs. Some of the lyrics are but it's a good album. The guy in my profile picture is also on this album, Kitseki. My profile picture is Kitseki, and he's on the album, so yeah. I listened to the guy who's in my profile picture, Kitseki! Woo! The Polish man! The emo Polish man!
Emo Polish
I love
man.
the emo Polish man.
Emo Polish man.
He's an emo Polish man doing emo Polish man things, like making emo Polish man songs and looking emo in every photo with Asteria.
Let's face it, emo Polish man is just fun to say. It's
Emo
one of those
Polish
things
man.
like Mama Coco.
Yeah.
Those are the words you picked because they're fun to say, and there is no shame in that.
I pick the words because they're fun to say, and then Kitseki like fades into the frame.
Actually, Coco Melon's Coco Melon's kind of fun to say. Coco Melon's
Having me
fun.
Coco Melons. Oh, you're right, it is.
The Coco Melon's kind of fun. I'll admit, Scootaloo is fun.
Scootaloo, yeah.
There you go.
Scootaloo is fun. But for me, my favorite, the most fun word of all time for me personally. Well, actually, okay, number 2. Number 2, Schadenfreude.
Yeah.
And number 1 is pure and simple, most beautiful word of all time. Fun.
Fun.
There you go.
Yeah. Sometimes you must be. It's just simple.
Fun.
Just simple, and it's just simple. It just gets you right. It gets you right in immediate smile with just one thing. So though it's sometimes you're in the mood for some Schadenfreude.
Yeah.
Really.
Schadenfreude.
A challenge. Like, if you didn't know English, what words would you say sound the most like made up words for some kind of fantasy world story that will never actually be real words.
Oh
Sean
my
Like
and Boyd
god.
have
blog.
really
If you
actually
didn't know what a
really-
blog was, wouldn't that sound like something somebody made up for like a B-tier sci-fi story?
Oh my god, let me
Probably.
tell you. I have like a few friends who have like English as like either their second or third language, and there has been times like that I just tell them a very obscure complicated English word and they just are like, that isn't like a title of a movie or something. I'm just like, no, this is an actual English word. Why is English such a confusing language? I don't know.
Oh, because it's more of a wish list, a collage of other languages and other languages' rules, not particularly applied skillfully or in an orderly manner.
And that's the reason why all my friends who have English as their second language always either talk about hating typing or they talk about just in general hating English.
Boy. Oh, that roommate I have that has English as a second language, she's just kind of like, whatever, it's not that important. I could use Google Translate. Or
Yeah,
I have
let's
a
go.
writing major for a husband, get over here and tell me how to spell this.
Yeah.
It like loses
Let's
its
go.
amusement factor after a while, and it's just like, yeah, this is a thing. English is kind of tedious.
Yeah.
Very, 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 very true. Very,
Oh my
very true.
god.
It
I
can be
just
hard to speak sometimes.
Speaking of the writing major thing, I just remembered something. I was talking to Second knows this person because they were like in my Discord server, like Candy Canes for You, that guy. You see, I had written out something for him and it was like really good. It was like for some kind of assignment. And the
Mhm.
thing is that I'd written this out for him and I had a ton of weird English mistakes. And I was just, and he had just like jokingly corrected me, and then like wrote a :3 afterwards. And I was just like, "Listen, man, I have a proofreader father, a mentor with a writing degree, and another friend who's working on getting a writing degree." And it's like, and then he was just like, "Does it seem like it's rubbing off at all?" No. So that's why your English is so bad sometimes? Yes. True story, by the way. So is any of that rubbed off on you? No. So that's it. So like your dad, that second guy, and Mr. Crow. None of that has helped you. I am still bad with English.
Oh
Never
my
mind.
Ooh.
Just like
Alright.
anytime I want to sound smart, I always like every time I want to sound smart, I purposely talk like second. I'm not even fully joking on that. Every time I want to sound smart, I talk like second. And I admitted that to Candy. It's just like anytime I'm trying to act smart, I talk like second. Every time.
Alright. I guess with that said, since Gator's throughout, I guess we'll probably see y'all next time.
Yeah.
Enjoy
Good
your
night.
existential trauma.
Oy.
And
Well,
rest
stay
in
tuned for
peace,
the next existential.
and
Yeah.
rest in peace, Gummy Gore.
Rest in peace, Gummy Goo, as we
Gummy
watch
Goo.
the CG5 funeral.
Don't come at us with
Gummy
the thing about how
Goo.
Cosmos was a real person and we didn't say anything for him. Cosmos is a non-character in the show.
Exactly, and that's why we're saying something about Gummy Goo, because he had a whole funeral in Tampa, Florida, and the people were sad.
We had a presence and an emotional scene and an arc and all of that. Cosmo is a theory.
Jack did it.
Alright. But I guess see y'all next time.
See ya.
Well then.
Bye.